You ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock and roll.
Okay. Hello, Michelle. I am so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Hi, Kimberly. How's it going?
Good. Oh, my heart's very happy seeing you, beautiful woman. We have a lot of exciting things to share on the show today.
We do. We do. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We are busy little bees in the background here creating something very spectacular. And today we've been talking about the Shine Summit on social and all over the place for we're going to be pushing like what, 4 years now talking about it. But I wanted the background of the pieces that others don't always see about what goes into putting on an event, the stresses that all of us as business owners feel and often pretend like we like shouldn't talk about it. And then maybe like everyone will think that we just like have it all figured out. Blech, right? We all do it.
Totally.
We all do it. But I want today to be pull back the curtain, behind the curtain as to what's going on here and diving into what exactly is this Shine Summit. If you've heard or seen something about it on social and maybe you've just scrolled past it, or you have heard maybe a friend is going and you're just wondering what it's all about, is this even for me? I've gotten a lot of inquiries coming in of like, this is the type of thing that I do. Is this event for me? And I always appreciate when people are brave enough to just sort of ask if it's the right thing. And I want to clear up any questions today that anyone listening might have to decide, why should I go to this thing? There's 100 places that you could be at any given moment of the day. Why is this the place that you should choose to invest your time and your money and your energy with others? And I think you and I are going to have a lot of reasons why they should today. So let's just dive in, because what exactly is the Shine Summit? You and I are the brainiacs behind putting on all of these details for this event, and we should be able to give a pretty clear explanation of what this event is, I would hope.
I would hope. Okay, so the Shine Summit to me is going to be a day that is just full of motivation and inspiration for women in business. And I know that's a very broad term, but for me, I see the day being a nice reminder, or even being able to fall in love with your business again, and just feeling all those feels about why you love what you do.
Yes.
So I think the day is full of so much that we can't really say because there's so many lovely surprises throughout the day, which is what I'm so excited for. But
You.
it's a day for women to really just go be together, work on their business, as well as learn and get motivated again.
I love that. And you know what the term that always has been coming to my mind too is like a being re-energized, like just feeling that owning a business, I use this line all the time, is not for the weak of heart. Like there are a lot of things that are not for the weak of heart in this world, but owning a business is one of them. And I think after coming out of the P word pandemic that we don't even want to mention anymore, we're in different places. And I think that's what is so beautiful about this event, is that this event was supposed to happen the year that the pandemic hit. So we were all en route to do this, and everything obviously got completely paused, and then paused again when we tried to re-pick another date out because of the waves coming through. But the silver lining of this all is that this has given you and I an opportunity to really dive into, what do we, both of us as individual business owners, what do we need in our businesses? What was the hardest thing about these last few years? What are the things that we're looking forward, being like, wow, I could really use some help with that, but I don't know what to do or who to ask or how to get there by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 Shine Summit. Like that's what this is
Yes.
for, because there's going to be so many amazing women in the room. We have our speaker, Kira, who's coming in from the USA. She's like, she's a little bit of a traveler nomad. So I can't actually say specifically where. Texas is where I say, but she's all over the place, living her best life. And she's coming up here and has never been to Canada. So this is going to be really fun.
Nice.
So I feel like we have incredible business leaders from all across Saskatchewan, Alberta, beyond. They are coming in to share their wealth of knowledge and experience, each which is so unique, so that there is going to be somebody in the room for everybody to connect with. Maybe you feel like you resonate with this person's business or the way they handle things, and you can sit at their table. You can learn from them. And that's what I think is so beautiful, is that we can all be imperfect business owners in a room together, asking for help and knowing that we are doing the best that we can.
Well, and we were very focused on trying to find different women in business in different areas of business, so that there would be someone that's a copywriter, someone that does marketing. Like, there's all these different pieces in there that we wanted to have a nice array of talent in the room, so that everybody attending Shine would be able to relate to one, to two, to three, to all of them, you know?
Well, and that's it, right? Because owning a business is such a broad term, because that into itself has so many layers and so many hats and so many chapters of things that you're just sort of supposed to know when you decide to run a business. And we could spend the rest of our lives researching all of these things and still never get to any form of right answer, because there is no right answer. It's like what feels right for you in your business. And that's really what I think we're wanting this day to be. Sometimes I think you and I have talked about this lots before, where there's sort of the like working in your business and the working on your business. And those things can get very muddled in the background when life is so busy.
So much. So that's another important thing, is I want people who are in the working in their business to really think about trying to work on your business. So I'll give myself as an example. I'm a florist in Saskatoon. I've been in business for 15, 16 years, and I never started working on my business until about, I would say, year 11. I was always just working, and I never actually took the time to look at my business, what I wanted to do, what I wanted personally with my business. There was never any effort put in that aspect, because I was so busy working every single day.
Yes.
So this event is especially great for someone who's like that.
Yes. So if you're listening and there's a light bulb about to go off for you, this is the same for me as well. Like, I didn't realize early on that working in and working on your business were two completely separate avenues of owning a business, because we get so, you're trying to do it all from the beginning when you start this, especially as a solopreneur. You start this on your own. You're trying to do it all. So immediately from day one, you're the marketing guru. You're the accountant and bookkeeper. You're the person for yourself, putting together the floral arrangements and designing and creating and the parts that are amazing and you're wonderful at, but there's all these other things going on in the background. And that was for me too. Planning events, consulting with my clients. Like, that is the difference, in case you're listening and trying to understand what the difference is between working on and working in your business. Is working in your business is actually working on direct things that are bringing in revenue. You are making the floral arrangements. You are designing the events. You are meeting with a client who is paying you for your services. Those are working in your business. Working on your business is this whole broad spectrum of what you just said. What are your business goals? How much money would you ideally like to make in a year? How are you targeting that? How are you reaching that? What is your budget for marketing? What is your, all of these things, which, I mean, just saying it out loud could almost make you nuts, right? I'm like, it's a lot, getting hot in here.
Well, it's quite funny, because I remember, I don't know how, it would have been a long time ago, because I was still over at the flower shop on Fairlight when I had a storefront. And I remember my brother saying to me, like, so what's your 5-year plan? And I remember I just started laughing and I'm like, I don't have a plan. I'm just working, and now I look back and I think, wow, I should have had a 5-year plan. I was lucky enough that when I opened, I was so busy that it just rolled on and rolled on and rolled on. But then I just got so sucked into working that that was all that was there for me.
You could have probably saved a few stressful years in your life, just like me. 100%. You know what? Maybe I wouldn't have to color my hair quite so much right now. Things had turned out differently 10 years ago. But here we are, taking the next right step.
Exactly.
We know, and when you know better, you can do better, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we want. The women that are going to be in this room are all entrepreneurs in very different capacities. Some of them have business partners. Some of them are solopreneurs. Some of the women attending whom have reached out and asked some questions are just dreaming about starting a business. They have had something just percolating for a long time, and this stirring of wanting to do something, but being like, no, I
actually just got shiveries. I think that's so exciting. This is such an exciting moment for someone who's not in business to be able to attend an event like this. I'm so excited.
Can you imagine? Had you attended an event like this from 16 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
This would have been a complete and total game changer. Because I think, like anything in life, and business owning is one of those things, when you are not surrounded by the right people or the right groups that are the right fit for yourself and your business and your personality and the way you want to show up in the world, it's very easy to feel really isolated and to think that you're the only person on earth that must be dealing with this in their business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
I agree. I really do. And I think if anybody is feeling uncomfortable about attending because they're shy or they don't want to talk about their business or they don't know what to say about their business, this is still a great event for you because we're creating the event to make everybody comfortable. So I remember attending my first business event, and I remember being so excited to get the lanyard with my name on it.
Oh my!
I just was so excited about that. But
like, you've really hit it big time now.
This is the way I think, right? But I remember walking into this room and there was so many people. I think it was maybe like 200 and some people in this room. And to me, that is overwhelming. And I was like, it was a 2-day event. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But by the end of that first day, I was like on cloud 9. I had like made a bunch of friends at this event. I like had all these ideas in my business. Like by day 2, I was like, this is the best thing I ever did.
Yes.
And that's what the shine is going to do for people.
It is. And I think it's very easy, whether you are a brand new, wouldn't even call yourself a business owner yet, you're just dreaming, but you're having those stirrings inside of you, or you've been in business for 40, 50 years. It really doesn't matter what stage you are at, because I believe that there is always room to grow and make something that works for all of us. Go through different stages of life. We, like, ages and stages and things that happen to us and things that we wish were happening to us and people that come and go into our lives. And I think no matter what stage you're at in life or in business, there's always something to learn. There's always somebody new to meet. There's always new ideas to glean. And there's always things where you could be like, oh, wow, that would be amazing for my business. I never thought of doing it that way before, where you might see your whole life in a completely different scope because of one idea that you hear somewhere.
And maybe just one little mind shift change, or maybe like it could be the littlest thing, but it could bring the greatest value to you.
Well, and that's exactly it. And that really was our intention from the get-go, is we wanted this to be an affordable, powerful experience. You and I have very different skill sets and gifts and the way that we run our own businesses and lives. And it's been a great complementary exercise to see that when you bring those things together, one of the things that we do have in common is we both love the details. We love details on things. Woo! So you guys are getting double the details here.
So many details. That I'm so excited for all the little details that this day will hold. And the VIP brunch is going to be, oh, I just can't wait. So many great details.
Well, it is. And that unto itself. So we've tried to keep this as economical as possible because we recognize that these last few years have been really hard. They've been hard for us, both as business owners, based on what was allowed and not allowed. I lost every single client and project I was working on in one day, my whole entire annual revenue out the window. And there's a billion stories like this that we're all hearing since this has all come through. And to get to this place now where we're learning business in a new way and in a new season of where we're at after coming through things. We're getting older. We're getting hopefully wiser. I don't know. I guess time will tell.
Definitely wiser.
Right? That I think something like this is, I feel like there can't even be a price tag put on this because I think we all know when you are willing to be brave enough to take a risk, and all of us have a different threshold of what risk feels right for us. But I think something like making the decision to buy a ticket to something is a risk. You are deciding whether or not this is where you want to spend your hard-earned time and money and say, yes, I want to invest in this. And for me, when I do something like this, I like it to feel like a really powerful transaction. Like I'm telling myself that myself and my business is worth putting money into it. And every single time I have attended something with that mindset, whether it be a stretch for the budget that it actually costs, and I'm like, "Ooh, should I do this? This feels like, and I like trust my instincts on it," or something where you're buying a $20 ticket to something. It doesn't matter. Putting the intention towards it and saying, my business and myself is worth this. And I know that there are going to be great things that are going to come out of this day. And I can't wait to be surprised. That's what I tell myself.
And I feel like one important detail that most people wouldn't expect coming to the Shine Summit is it's not just a day where you go, you sit, you eat some food, you listen, you go home. There's actual time put in for you to work on your business. So you're not there just to sit and chit chat and make friends. You're there to work on your business as well, too, while enjoying a whole bunch of other fun things throughout the day. So it really is going to be a special event.
Which is kind of why we intentionally wanted it to be a weekday that was like a 9 to 5, which is like almost like a play on words for an entrepreneur, because that is not what our lives normally look like from 9 to 5. But trying to make it fit within sort of like a regular day's hours so that you're not taking time away on a weekend or an evening or something else, whatever fits within your life and your family and whatever else anyone has on the go. But that you're feeling like you are having like just a day of work, but let's make work fun. Let's make it joyful. That's always my thing. And how do we sort of put ourselves in an experience that we've never been in before? And P.S., nobody in the room will have ever been in this experience before because it's year one. So all of us are doing this for the first time together. And there is something really bonding about an experience like that because you're meeting people, you are trying something new. Maybe you haven't ever been out to the barn at Wind's Edge yet. That's an experience unto itself.
Beautiful, beautiful venue.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like all of these things kind of rewire your brain a little bit to saying, okay, let's expect something new. Let's see what might happen. What if something great happens? What if I get to actually have a one-on-one conversation with this person who I've just been dying to meet?
Like me with the gals who own Cupcake or who own Crave. Yes, like I'm like
curling on in Carolyn.
Yeah. I'm just so excited to meet them.
Right. And I think it's like one of those things where, I mean, especially because so much stuff has been done virtually in the last few years, it's still been really fun. I was at a few recent networking things where we were joking about the fact that I sometimes can't remember if it's been a real life or a virtual meetup now. Like it's so fused in my brain that my virtual meetups have been just as powerful sometimes as like in person. So I'm like,
Mhm.
we haven't met before. Like you just feel like you know them. And the only thing that we laughed about, I can't remember who I was chatting with us about, was someone's height. That was
Oh
always
yeah.
the only thing that felt surprising because you're always sitting usually during a Zoom meeting. So that
Yeah.
was the only thing where it's like you get their mannerisms, you get how they're talking, you're seeing their face, you know how it is. But it was like the height where you're like, oh my, you are much taller than I imagined you to be. Or like, oh, you're so short. Your like legs are dangling on the sofa and I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So I think it's sort of like our Instagram coming to life in the Shine Summit is how I imagine it. We're people that you've connected with or wanted to connect to. So I think what has been super special is that the women that we've been very intentional about getting into this room, we've been posting about them. We've been sharing about them. So if you don't already follow Shine Collective Canada on Instagram or Facebook, just go check it out because that's where we've been featuring and on the website who is actually going to be here in this room. So if you see somebody on that list where you're like, oh my goodness, fangirling like Michelle with Crave Cupcakes, or
Mhm.
or maybe you just cannot wait to meet Megan from Elizabeth Lynn Jewelry, or you've been dreaming of meeting Chelsea from Bark Design Studio in Regina, they're going to
Yeah.
be in the room. Like
Mhm.
coming in hot, ready to meet you. They are so excited to be a part of this event. And so I think that part is going to be, that's where like a lot of the magic happens. And you and I have been really intentional about creating the day in a way that gives space for the flow, like you said, of like what's being learned and listened to, but also working on having someone there to be like, you can ask the questions to, and there's no silly questions. You should hear the things that I ask or the things that I type into Google.
Exactly.
There's no
We all
silly
do we
question.
all do it.
They'll do it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And the sooner I think we start realizing that everybody coming in there started somewhere, and
Mhm.
everybody coming in there, even if they have what someone might think is a massively successful business, most entrepreneurs are still in the background. But I could do more. But what about these dreams? And then I have these things I want to do and these things I want to do. And it's sort of like a never ending cycle, which is part of the joy of it, not
That's
getting
and that's
overwhelmed by it.
that's a true entrepreneur is everything. There's always things. Always.
And a day like this almost like fans the flame of it, where like you're doing things and maybe you just keep having this like idea that there should be something different or something new or something whatever going on. And maybe you have that one conversation with somebody where you're like, oh, that is the
It
perfect collaboration, or,
yeah. It points you in the directions that you just didn't know where to go, or it gives you the inspiration to go in that direction. So there's so many possibilities.
well, there is. And all of us spend a lot of time on our computer, and sitting on our computer by ourselves in our offices is all great to get the work done, but that is not connection made. So being able to get out from behind the computer screen, meet people in real life, have real conversations, show up in a way that makes us feel excited about what we're doing in our life and our business and the purpose that we're bringing to the world. Oh, you know this about me. This lights me up.
Well,
Light.
and you said life and business. So I feel a lot of the time that people don't put those two together where it's just business, but life is a huge part of that. So I think that a lot of people don't realize that those two go together.
Yes.
And for me personally, once I realized that, that's when I was able to really move forward with my business and figure out how it would work with me and my life versus letting my business run my life. So those were like key things that I learned by going to an event, which it seems so obvious. And you're like, oh, why didn't I know that? But
Yes.
something simple to learn that I took me stepping out of my comfort zone, going to a conference and then learning that.
Well, and sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, hearing information in a way that just sounds different, even if you've heard something similar before, right?
Mhm.
Like you just hear it differently. And I think that's what I want for this event. I'm excited that you and I have been in the background planning this all. And I know that you and I are going to get so much out of this day that we couldn't even see coming, and we're in it all.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. I was thinking, even if we had 20 people show up for the event, I am going to learn something from this event. And I was so excited about that, about the thought of just being able to go and work on my own business for an event that I'm planning. Like, I thought that was just so interesting.
Right? Like, aren't we geniuses? But
Just plan the event for what we want and what we need.
isn't that how all business actually works? Yeah, right.
I mean,
I feel like that was something I wanted to touch on because you and I have put a lot of energy and time and stress that comes into, I mean, I've been planning events for almost 20 years. Like it is not an easy thing to do. I often will have friends that are like planning events like for their offices, or like they're the one that it ends up falling onto their plate for whatever reason, that they're like, okay, you got to plan the Christmas party, or you got to plan the whatever, or they're doing something with the nonprofit that they work that they want to volunteer with, and they get ended up being the one that has to like be the organizer. And they'll text me, never fails, every time. They're like, I don't know how you've done this for 20 years. I'm like, why?
well, I mean, honestly, this is my first event I've put on ever. So, I mean, I just go in thinking, oh, I'll do some flowers here, do this here. Like, there's a whole thing,
It's a
which I
thing.
didn't really expect. Thank God for you, because I would be,
It's a
I'd
thing.
be,
It's
right?
a thing.
So there's so much, again, detail that goes into an event like this. And like you had mentioned before, we both bring different strengths. And the fact that you are so good at planning events, I feel is just the best gift for being able to plan my first time event. Like, you've
Yay.
been amazing.
Yeah, it's not, and I think you and I really have wanted to be really honest about the fact that it comes with a lot of challenges, like anything in it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I am beyond excited about this event to finally happen. It feels like it's been a
Mhm.
long time coming, but now that we're only weeks away from it, it feels so exciting that the thing that we dreamed up in our minds, that has always my whole life been my favorite part about events, like what you visualize. And I'm sure similar to you with your florals too, right? You like dream up what this is going to look like. And then when it actually your dream turns into a real life like thing that's actually touchable in front of you, and you're like, this is exactly what I was wanting it to look like. And you're always like, is it going to come together the way that this is all, you sort of like second guess yourself. At least I do at the events. But then once it does, you're like, oh, like that's to me, just that's the like magic juice that
Mhm.
kept me going for so many years, because that feeling, like if you could just bottle it up and drink it
It
on a
is.
day, drink it on a day where you're not feeling so great.
Yeah, where this doesn't line up or this doesn't line up, just take a little sip
Little
of the
sippy
magic.
sip of that potion and you're back in biz. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Maybe that's our next business venture. We'll see how we can bottle the
The magic.
the magic. Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we wanted just to be open about the fact that when you are planning, like just the idea of us taking the risk to plan this event, we don't know who's going to show up. We don't know if anybody's on board for it. We're putting ourselves out there. And that I think is what I think you have to act that out in order for others to realize that it's okay to put yourself out there.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I felt that several times throughout planning our event. What if nobody wants to come? What if people don't show up? But the thing that I kept going back to was what we were actually doing with the event and what was going to be offered at the event. In my mind, it is a no brainer. Like, everybody would want to attend. So that's what's kept me on the low points when we were planning, was like, this is an awesome event and people will enjoy it and get so much out of it. So that just brings me right back up.
I agree. And I think that's part of it too. Like the whole mindset side of business is it's talked about a lot, but I think really diving in and understanding like those low points that often happen multiple times a day, the high points often happen multiple times a day. It's really a roller coaster of day-to-day emotions of, like your business is your livelihood. Like
Mhm.
my business is my only source of revenue. I don't have anywhere else that this is coming from. So this for me gives me sort of the like pep in my step to be like,
Mhm.
okay, how are you going to make this work? Because I don't want to spend my whole life working and working and working and never feeling like I'm being compensated for the work and time and energy that I'm putting in, taking time away from my kids, taking time away from the things that I also want to be doing. But this event has definitely made me feel re-energized about my own business again, because I am excited that you and I get to be a part together of doing this for other women, that they get to feel re-energized and this magic again.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because that's also been a really big part of like the joy in planning this, is the thought of what this can do for other people. We mentioned being young in business. So I opened my business when I was 23, 24. If I would have had something like this, who knows the possibilities that could have that opened up for me. And the thought of that for other people just really makes me so excited and like happy to plan this and plan future events like this one.
I agree. Well, and our intention is that this is an annual event with other things that are going to spring off of it. And I think sometimes we need to just sort of ask for what we need. And that's what we're putting out there. We need people who want to have the courage to take the next right step in their business and come join us in this. We're putting this out to the public because we want you to join us in this. We want you to feel excited about your business and your life again. We want you to connect with people that you've never met with before. And we want you to say, you know what? I am doing what I love. I am growing my business and I can't do it by myself. I need community in order for this to be a sustainable practice. And I wish I had known that sooner. And once I did figure that out, it's been such a game changer for me in my business to recognize that asking for help is what keeps the joy in your business and not doing it alone, rather than feeling tired and resentful and frustrated and overwhelmed and all of the things that we all can still feel. But I feel like I have the ability to very quickly turn that around now on days when I am feeling those things, because I have such an incredible support system within my life and my business, that just the go-tos when things are feeling low.
Yeah. Or if you're needing help in a certain area in your business, or,
Yes.
like me, for example, say we get a bunch of flowers in for a wedding that arrived poorly. Well, we have a community of florists that is growing, and we reach out to each other and we work to help each other. So there's something of value when you have a network of people that you can rely on.
100%. Oh my goodness. I love that. I think that that is so important. And I cannot wait to see what is going to come out of the Shine Summit in that exact regard, because magic is going to happen for the people that are in the room. And I'm excited that I get to be in the room with you
Yeah.
and like
Yes.
doing this together.
Me too. I just, I can't even, I can't even really explain how excited I am for the day.
It's fun feeling excited. I feel like as we get older, that's sometimes something that we don't almost allow ourselves to sink into enough, because there's so much like adulting and responsibilities and logistics and all
And
of the things,
thoughts around money and spending and
all of it. Yeah, I agree with you. It is really fun to have something to look forward to and to get excited about. And this is definitely, I mean, this is a business summit, but the things that are going to be spoken about and taught and connected on are going to be life impacting alongside business growth, because they just go hand in hand. If you are feeling excited and well and healthy as a human, as a person, that comes back tenfold in your business, because you have the energy and the excitement and the passion to keep going in your business. And it kind of just becomes a cyclical thing when you're taking care of both of those things simultaneously.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so just come to the Shine Summit, really, is what the message of this all is.
It's basically, you're basically like treating yourself to a really special day.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like treats? Everybody. loves treats.
Hello. Yeah. I like treats. I like treats. Okay. So before we go, I always have to ask some fun questions to my guest about, because we were just talking about how life and business is always a constant collide. So I like to know like little fun details about your life so that we can know each other better as people. And then it gives you sort of insight into that person and get to know them better, not just their business, but who.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Ready? You ready? Okay. What is one new thing that you have tried lately?
Oh. Oh, I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. Next question.
Or something that you would like to try, but keep not doing. Like, oh, that would be fun, but then you don't go do it.
Okay. I don't know.
Like food, activity. Like, would you like to go to Smash?
Okay. There is an activity actually.
Okay, let's hear it.
So my brother and my sister-in-law do this like Muay Thai. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Kickboxing type thing.
Ooh.
Like they're real intense about it, and they keep bugging me saying like, "Hey, you should come. You and your husband should come." And I'm like, I could spar with my husband and it would be allowed. So I've been wanting to do that, but I can't because I have a really sore shoulder from working. So that's like something I've been wanting to do. So maybe after this season, when I rest a bit, I can get in and my husband and I can go spar at the gym.
Yeah. Sounds like a couple physio appointments and then we're ready. I feel like that would be the best therapy I could imagine, actually. Like, I'm so mad at you. Let's go kickbox.
My sister-in-law, there was a video of my sister-in-law smacking my brother and she sent it to me and I was laughing. I couldn't handle it. It was so funny.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I've been wanting to try smash therapy, which would be in similar fashion, except instead of being athletic about it, you're just smashing things to smithereens.
Oh, I've heard of that, like the smash room and you just go throw things.
Yeah. You go throw things. I think sometimes you can smash them with like a bat and you just like go to town and you don't have to clean it up. You know how like in your house, sometimes you imagine like there's like random TV shows where they just like clean their desk off and everything's
and they take a glass, they throw it against. Yeah.
They're so mad and it shatters. And do you want to know what? Every single time I'm watching a show, I'm like, well, who's cleaning that up? Who's cleaning that up? This is not, you know, it's like fun in the moment. It's me. That's who's cleaning it up. So I wouldn't ever do that. But this room feels like a safe place where you don't have to clean it up. You just go into the room and just smash things and let it all out in a safe, healthy way, not against anyone. And then you move on with your day.
Lovely. I think that sounds great.
Okay. What is one thing that people sometimes misunderstand about you that they wish they knew, but you wish they knew?
Well, I guess I would say it's fairly simple. It comes in regards to like customer service. So being one of the sole people that work in my business, there's about 4 of us, that time is short. And I find sometimes that people forget that we're human and we're doing the best that we can. And they expect certain things when we literally are doing the best that we can, just as every other person is. But sometimes it feels like expectations, it's like they're our only client and that everything needs to be,
Right.
I
That's
just
right.
wish sometimes there was a little bit more understanding that we deal with a lot of people, and time is, if there was more time, obviously we would be
Well,
able
and
to.
if they wanted to hire you as their personal florist for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, you would be happy to be on call for their floral needs.
Yes. Yes, 100%. So very simple that, I mean, I think it goes in all aspects of life, is just like compassion for people and the amount that they can do in a certain amount of time.
I like what you said about generous assumptions, like doing the best they can. I think I've said this on every single episode lately that I'm rereading the book Rising Strong with Brene Brown. And it'll be like episodes and episodes, be like, can she finish the book already? Like, how long does it take this girl to read one book? But I only read one chapter a day intentionally. So it takes me a while to read books sometimes, but that's what I have capacity for. And that's what I do, is one chapter a day. And I also, when I want to read more, I don't. I keep it at one chapter. So on the days when I'm like, I don't really have time, I still read a chapter. And on the days where I'm like, I kind of want to keep going, I still make myself stop. It's like my habit training.
Nice.
But they were talking, Brene Brown was talking about generous assumptions in this book, and like living in a way where you are assuming that everybody around you is doing the best they can. And how powerful it would be if all of us assumed that and were able to just keep buzzing along our own world with that assumption, rather than everyone's out to get me and they're failing me.
Well, and imagine how much more kindness would be in this world if it were that way.
100%. No, I love that one. Okay. This should be an easy one.
Okay.
What food or drink are you hooked on right now?
Oh, it's like the story of my life. It's cake. Any cake.
Just the overarching umbrella of
Well,
anyone in particular?
Cake, muffins, cookies, like anything really. Like
That's
Kathy,
that's why you want to meet the Crave Cupcake lady.
well, like look at Kathy made me this muffin and I have been waiting to eat it all day.
Just anticipating it.
Yeah, so Kathy's in the studio working while she leaves me these muffins here. Like
Right.
obviously I'm gonna crush both of them as well.
You're such
But
a
no, any sweets. It's just, there's one chocolate. It's a vegan avocado chocolate cake from McNally Robinson. I think actually we had that for one of our Shine meetings.
We did.
That was a long time ago. I'm still on it.
I'm still. Well, it sounds scrumptious. Now you're making me want cake. Now you're the temptress. Okay, where are you hoping to travel to next?
Okay, so I'm traveling to Thailand in December.
How did I not know this yet?
I don't know, but I've wanted to go my whole life basically. And my husband and I finally booked the trip. So we're going for my 40th birthday.
Thailand, after all my travels, is still on the #1 most beautiful place I've been to.
I'm so excited.
Oh, it is like nothing I had ever seen before. I am so excited for you.
And normally I'm the type of traveler that we just pack our bags, we go, I'm comfortable planning everything while we're there. But I don't know why I'm the complete opposite this time. I'm like planning everything. I'm like,
Is it because you haven't traveled in a while?
Pardon?
Is it because you haven't traveled in a while?
No, I've traveled. I've still traveled.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
it
no,
is a far destination though. And it's sort of like a once in a lifetime. Like you're not going to be going to Thailand every 3 months, right? So you're like, we got to do it all.
That's how I feel. And I also want to zip over into Cambodia, but I'm thinking like, do we do that? Thailand has been like this idea that I want to just like really enjoy. So I unsure yet, but Cambodia might be on the list too.
Well, we'll chat Thailand after this. The little island hoppings and the, I'm so excited for you. Okay. last question. What is
Yes.
one thing that is bringing you joy right now?
Well, I can't really say one thing.
You can
There's
say
so
multiple, you can say
many. There's
multiple
so
things.
many. Okay, it's all going to be the basic stuff. So my mindset has really changed in being able to enjoy the simplest little things in my everyday life. And that is going to sound so cheesy, but it's just,
You know who you're speaking to, right? Like, no, not cheesy. Go. Yeah.
so for example, today, Tuesday is one of our shipment days. We get boxes of flowers in. It literally is like Christmas every Tuesday and Wednesday. I open
Oh,
these boxes and I'm like, oh, it's just, I just am finding so much joy in the little things. Like even being able to stay home in an evening and sit on the couch and watch Netflix, I am like just
oh,
over the moon for.
that is a big cup of joy right there. Staying home and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
love
it's
that.
honestly just like finding happiness in all the things that I normally would have just, it would have been, I would take for granted and I wouldn't really, it wouldn't be a thing. But now it's like so many different things are just like bringing so much joy, which never did before, but they've always been there.
You're gonna make me cry. This is so good.
Aw.
Thank you for sharing so openly, and thank you for being my partner in crime for Shine. And there is just going to be so many great things to come in these next couple of weeks, and in all of the spinoff things that are going to happen after the first Shine Summit. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much.
We did it. Oh,